Needham residents Maggie and Joe Abruzzese recently filed conflict of interest complaints against Select Board Chair Matt Borelli and Design Review Board Chair Mark Glusing with the State Ethics Commission. Borelli's company, Needham Enterprises, LLC, is seeking a permission to build a child care facility on a long-deserted site at 1688 Central Avenue. Glusing is the architect of the project. The Abruzzeses believe Borelli and Glusing have conflict of interest because they are the developer and architect for this project, and they hold positions of influence on municipal boards. Municipal producer Yu Xiaowin has the story.
The Abruzes sent several letters via email to the Select Board, the Planning Board, and other relevant departments in town about their concerns over the conflict of interest involved in the permitting process of 1688 Central Avenue.
We're concerned that we have a Needham selectman whose job it is to look out for the interests of Needham and to uphold Needham's bylaws, who is instead pursuing a very controversial commercial development project for his own profit.
By the same token, there's the chair of the Design Review Board, which is appointed by the Select Board. His Design Review Board is responsible for reviewing the design of the project. But that board is basically looking at a project that has been submitted by the chair of the Design Review Board himself. And so the Design Review Board has come forth with some recommendations on the project, but the chair is representing his own interests and his client's interests ahead of the interests of Needham and the Design Review Board.
In their letters, the Abruzes cited provisions from the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 268A, or commonly known as the State Ethical Law. They stated the law prohibits Select Board Chair Matt Borelli and Design Review Board Chair Mark Glusing from receiving compensation or acting as an agent of anyone other than Needham in the development of 1688 Central Avenue. The Abruzes letter also alleged another violation by Glusing when he reached out to another member of the Design Review Board to request recommendations for his design. Even though Borelli has authorized an attorney to file and proceed with the application on behalf of Needham Enterprises, and Glusing recused himself from official Design Review Board discussion, the Abruzes explained in the letters why they believe Borelli and Glusing's participation in the project still violates the code. Borelli responded via email when we reached out for comment. He wrote, "I conferred with and followed the advice of Town Council on how to proceed with an application without running afoul of any conflict of interest law as they pertained to my position as selectman prior to applying for this project. It is extremely unfortunate any time someone makes a claim without merit as an attempt to interfere with a project. Ethical claims are extremely serious and personal, and it is up to the State Commission to review." Glusing has not responded to our request for comments as of this recording on August 26. The Abruzes also asked the Town Council to issue a written opinion. Referring relevant laws and regulations, they stated Town Council should file his opinion in writing with the Town Clerk and the State Ethics Commission when a municipal employee solicits ethics advice.
And the reason for that is so that ordinary people like us can read the opinion and feel reassured and know that our elected officials are following the law.
Without a written opinion, there's a lack of transparency as to what guidance has been given, what law or cases that opinion is founded upon. We really have no opportunity to understand the guidance that's been given. So that's why we're asking, and we've seen in other situations where town councils do provide written opinions, and we'd like them to do that in this case as well.
In an email Town Council Chris Heap sent to Maggie Abruzzi on July 16th, Heap responded there were no written ethics opinions relative to Glusing or Borelli regarding this project. He wrote, "I appreciate that the provision quoted above may suggest that a written opinion will exist in the town clerk's office every time a municipal employee has solicited ethics advice from the town council. This is not actually required by Chapter 268A. However, and in practice, it is common for municipal employees to seek guidance that is not followed later by a formal written legal opinion." In response to Abruzzi's request for a new written opinion, he said, "Respectfully, I cannot represent at this time that a new written legal opinion will be forthcoming in response to your request." The Abruzzis then requested the Select Board and the Planning Board to suspend all hearings and decisions on the project until a determination on whether there is a conflict of interest in this matter is made. They wrote, "There is no need to squander the resources of this board by proceeding forward on this application before getting a determination of that question." Planning Board Chair Paul Alper sought advice from Town Council Heap, who wrote back, "Even if it is assumed that the letter correctly identifies a conflict of interest, I don't believe that this would affect the Planning Board's review of the project under the zoning bylaw." The Abruzzis said because they did not receive a satisfactory response from the town, they filed a complaint with the State Ethics Commission. But they added it is the Select Board who should act on this issue.
The State Ethics Commission can't really come into Needham and tell Needham what to do here. It's the Select Board's job to make sure that no proceedings go forth if there is a conflict of interest, as there appears to be in this case.
And we would hope that the board would at least pause and understand the outcomes of those investigations, or go seek expert advice from an independent third party before letting controversial developments like this proceed and even bypass some of Needham's existing bylaws. So we're really just asking them to take an informed view before letting projects like this proceed without any question.
At this meeting on August 17th, Select Board Vice Chair Marion Cooley responded to the raised concerns, stating the board has no jurisdiction over the compliance of a municipal employee with the state ethical law.
The Select Board does not have the power to order a member to withdraw an application that has been submitted to the Planning Board, and it does not have the power to instruct a member of the Design Review Board to cease representing a private client.
In the letter sent to the Select Board on August 13th, the Abruzzis asked the Select Board to direct the Planning Board to suspend all hearings regarding this project and to hire an outside firm to investigate the alleged violations. Can the Select Board ask the Planning Board to suspend the hearings and permitting process due to ethical concerns?
No. And again, if you think about this, right, we're a town form of government where the Select Board and the Planning Board are independently elected boards. All right, they both have their own jurisdictions within the town government and the way that it's set up. So certainly for government to work effectively, we have to work together, but we do not have the right within the charter to direct the Planning Board, to direct somebody acting as a private citizen to withdraw an application or to suspend hearings. Okay. You know, the interesting thing about this is that as a municipal official, right, or municipal employee, which all of us are in some way, shape, or form, even though we're elected, we're governed by that. There is a robust state ethics, you know, set of guidelines that's given by the state. It's not perfect in every situation that exists these days. Certainly, I think modern times have created some other stresses since that law was updated in 2009 by the state, but it is robust and it is applied statewide and it is adjudicated by the State Ethics Commission. So that's really where the responsibility for adjudication lies.
If the Ethics Commission ruled that there was a violation, but it came after the project was constructed, what can the Select Board do then?
If it were to get that far down the road, and I would be surprised that it would take that long to get to that point, the Planning Board, if the Ethics Commission ruled that there was a violation, all right, and it's not clear to me, right, because we haven't done any fact finding. We only know what's available to the public, okay? But if they were to rule that there were an ethical violation, then the Planning Board has the ability up to and including withdrawing that permit. So that would require that the business cease operation.
The state website says that it could take weeks to years for the Ethics Commission to process a complaint. So to ensure there's no violation in this case, while we move forward with the reviewing process, will the select board consider asking Mr. Borelli and Mr. Gluson to seek advice from the Ethics Commission and release their opinion, or hiring an outside firm to look into this?
It is my understanding that both gentlemen have consulted with the State Ethics Commission. Okay. Obviously, I haven't been party to those discussions, but I have been told that both have consulted with the State Ethics Commission. I do not know what advice was given there. In my experience, it's common that the State Ethics Commission does not provide written guidance. They provide oral guidance, and they will only provide that guidance to the people who are directly involved in the particular transaction. So I, as a select board member, can't call to ask about what their guidance would be for somebody else, right? I can only call and ask for guidance as it relates to me, but my understanding is that has happened by both gentlemen, but I do not know of any written guidance that would be available to be posted to the town website. So I think there's a misunderstanding maybe there, I don't know. I think it's fair to say that from the select board perspective, that we are still trying to ascertain whether in fact there is a need for another outside counsel. The counsel that the town does have, right, has experience in state ethics matters, right? So the question is, do we need additional advice? And again, my understanding is that our lawyer has provided guidance to both gentlemen about ways in which they can behave that are in compliance with the State Ethics Board. All right, what they would need to do to be in compliance with the state ethics guidelines. I'm not privy to that advice, but I believe that that is what has been done.
The Planning Board will continue its public hearing on 1688 Central Avenue on Wednesday, September 8th. For the Needham Channel News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.